welcome to another episode of Kai Time. I am your host, Mata Sere. Now, thank you so much for joining us. We're back with another great show. So here's what's coming up on the show tonight. Tonight on Kai Time, we will take a look at our food feature for this week. We will also check out what's cooking with House Kai. Plus, on our Kai Time cooking segment, we've got another very simple and affordable dish that we will be cooking. That's coming up on the show tonight. Alright, so let's get straight into it. Now, for our recipe tonight, we will be making some chili crabs. Now, this is more or less like the Singaporean style chili crabs, but without the complicated ingredients. Now, for our ingredients, we have found them at our nearest local markets as well as the supermarket. So, I've got 2 crabs here. Now, these are mud crabs and they are live. So, I'm going to clean them up. And while I do that, we'll find out more about crabs in our food feature for this week. Our food feature for this week is the crab. Crabs are a diverse group of crustaceans that play a vital role in marine and coastal ecosystems. They serve as both predators and prey, helping to maintain the balance of marine life. Crabs are a major source of income for many coastal communities. Species like blue crabs and king crabs are highly sought after in commercial fisheries. The farming of crabs has become an important industry, providing jobs and food. In various cultures, crab symbolizes resilience, adaptability, and protection. Crabs are celebrated in many cuisines around the world, featuring in traditional dishes and festivals. Crabs are often studied for their behavior, biology, and environmental response, contributing to marine science. There are many varieties of crabs, but most common types include Dungeness, king, snow, blue, and stone crabs, which are popular for their consumption due to their distinct meat textures and flavors. Other interesting varieties include the enormous Japanese spider crab and the land-dwelling coconut crab, while unique species like the horseshoe crab are more ancient crustaceans, and hermit crabs are known for using discarded shells for protection. Crabs are an excellent source of high-quality protein, making them a healthy choice for many diets. They are rich in essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin B12, zinc, and selenium. Crabs are a versatile and popular food choice enjoyed in many cuisines around the world. Here are some common cooking uses for crabs. 1. Crab cakes. Made with lamb crab meat, breadcrumbs, and various seasonings. These are then pan-fried or baked for a crispy exterior. 2. Crab boils. A popular dish in coastal regions. Crabs are boiled with spices, potatoes, corn, and sausages, creating a flavorful one-pot meal. 3. Crab soups and stews. Creamy crab bisque or hearty crab stew are classic options, often featuring vegetables and herbs. 4. Crab pasta. Crab meat can be tossed with pasta, olive oil, garlic, and herbs for a simple, elegant dish. 5. Sushi and rolls. Imitation crab or real crab meat can be used in sushi rolls, such as California rolls. 6. Stuffed crab. Crab meat is often used to stuff vegetables like bell peppers or mushrooms for a delicious filling. 7. Crab salad. Fresh crab meat is mixed with mayonnaise, celery, and seasonings, often served on lettuce or in a sandwich. 8. Grilled or roasted crabs. Crabs can be marinated and grilled or roasted for a smoky flavor. 9. Crab dip. Creamy crab dip is a popular appetizer, often served warm or with crackers or bread. 10. Crab tacos. Shredded crab meat can be used as a filling for tacos, topped with fresh salsa and avocado. There are many dishes highlighting crabs' culinary importance. Overall, crabs are integral to both natural ecosystems and human societies. And that was our food feature for this week. Now we have cleaned the crabs and we've cut them up and we're just prepping our station to start cooking. But before we do that, we'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got more for you on Kai Time.
Hi guys, Letitia here with another House Kai segment. Today we will be making an independence dish. So for this dish, I've decided to cook something from my province and I come from Milne Bay. So we will cook in our traditional clay pot and what we will be making is coconut chicken soup. For this dish, you're gonna need some bananas, cocoa, taro, some yams, also veggies, onions, ginger, garlic, tomatoes, some pak choy, coconut, and our chicken. And to top it all off with our house kai kakaruk stock cube. Now we have time to cook one time house kai. So the first thing we're gonna do is we'll peel our garden food. Fun fact, PNG has a wide variety of bananas compared to other countries. Now we're peeling our cocoa. So next, let's peel our taro. Oh my god, yes, purple taro. Now let's peel our yams. There are two different yams. This we call nale, and this is kwatea. They're like different kinds of yams. We have African yams, we have elephant yams. They taste different, so you also have purple yams. Now let's move on to our veggies. Tomatoes. You can use any kind of veggies you want. Alright, so I prepared my banana leaves. Now let's pack my gulewa. So the reason why I packed the banana leaves inside is so the food doesn't get stuck on the clay pot, it doesn't get bent. Hey! Oh my gosh! Stop lo blesso! Close it. You know what I mean? I'm currently waiting for my clay pot to boil. Now the history behind this, or let's say back in my province, we use this for trading. We use clay pots to trade for food and pigs. We also do feasts. In today's generation, it's more like when there's like family gatherings or a special occasion, then we cook with our clay pots. But this is an exception because it's independence. If you haven't tried tasting food in the clay pot, you are missing out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I think you have to try it for yourself. So our pot has been on the fire for about an hour. Moment of truth. Let's see what the food looks like. Oh my gosh, that looks so delish. Alright guys, so we're done with our traditional cooking, and this is all cooked in our gulewa. And this is all done with our very own house kai kakaruk stock cube.
Welcome back to Kai Time. Now, for our recipe, we are going to be making some chili crabs. Now a quick run through of the ingredients that we have here in front of us. So in this bowl, I've got some mud crabs. These are 2 whole mud crabs. And in our food feature earlier on, you have checked out a lot about mud crabs and the anatomy and how these crustaceans play a vital role in the environment. Now these are 2 whole mud crabs, 1 male and 1 female. Now in this bowl, I've got some cornstarch. This is about 3 tablespoons. Now what we're going to be doing first is we're going to coat our mud crabs with some cornstarch and then fry them off first. So the cornstarch is purposely for coating. In this bowl we've got about 3 whole eggs. We will be whisking this and adding this to the mud crabs a little bit later on. Over here I've got some lime wedges. Now in this I've got some tomato paste. And I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of this. This is to make our sauce. I also have half a cup of ketchup or tomato sauce. Here we've got some spring onions. These are just for additional garnish, just to put on the top of the chili crabs. Now over here we've got 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now this cornstarch is for our slurry and it's just to thicken up the chili sauce. Now in this bowl I've got 1 whole grated onion. Over here we've got about 6 cloves of grated garlic and 1 tablespoon of grated ginger. Here we've got some fresh chilies, so we've got green chilies and red chilies. Over here we have about 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. Here we have a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of white ground pepper to taste. And over here, just to sweeten things up, we've got about 1 tablespoon of sugar. Alright, so our skillet is on. We've got the heat at medium to high, and we've got some oil in here. What we're going to do now is we're going to coat the crabs and we're going to fry them off, just lightly fry them. We'll set that aside, return the skillet, and then we'll work on our sauce. Alright, so we'll get started. So I've got our crabs here. You can do this either way. You can always just put your crabs into the cornstarch, or you can just flour or add your cornstarch into your bowl and coat the crabs. But I'm going to be doing this today. So just coating the part where the meat is visible. So this should stop the oil from splattering out. So that's 1, and straight into our pan, like so, and we'll do the same for the rest. And into the pan they go. Now there are lots of ways to enjoy mud crabs or crabs in general. This is just one way of just taking the crab recipe up a notch a little bit. So the secret to this recipe is in the sauce. So once you get the sauce right, you enjoy crabs a different kind of way. So we'll just flip this over. So the idea is to just brown this off a little bit. Set this aside and then we'll work on our sauce. Alright, so we have returned our skillet. Now it's on a medium to high heat and we're going to get started with making our chili sauce. So our oil is heated up. First things first, we're going to be adding our onions. So into our skillet goes our onions. Now there's so many ways to make this dish. This is one way of making that. So we're just frying off our onions. To this we're going to be adding our grated ginger and grated garlic. And we'll keep stirring. So we'll give this about 30 seconds just to cook off. Now we're going to add our tomato paste. We only need about a tablespoon, so that should be it. That's our tomato paste. Now to this we're going to add the half cup of ketchup or tomato sauce. So in goes the tomato sauce. Now to this we're going to be adding the chilies. So the amount of chilies will depend on your spice tolerance. So this should be a little bit mild spicy, but you can add more or you can just leave them out. It's entirely up to you. Now to this, for sweetness, we're going to be adding our sugar. So this is about 1 tablespoon of sugar, and we'll add in our soy sauce. Now I've got 1 cup of chicken stock. So this is just some water and a chicken stock cube, about 50 grams. So this is 1 cup of chicken stock. It goes in here. So we'll just give this a stir, mixing everything together. Now once our sauce comes to a simmer, we will add the crabs back into the skillet, and then we'll make our cornstarch slurry, and we'll also add in the eggs and our salt and pepper to taste. So this shouldn't take a long time to cook. It's a quick and easy recipe, but I prefer making this over the weekend for a weekend dinner or lunch if you want to. So we'll let this simmer for about a minute before we add the crabs back in. So we'll add our crabs back in to absorb all the sauce. All right. So we'll toss and turn our crabs over and keep stirring this. So allowing the sauce to get into the crabs. Now in here we had about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So I just added about 3 tablespoons of water to make our cornstarch slurry. Now what's going to happen is we're going to allow our crabs to cook off for about 2 to 3 minutes before we add in our slurry and the eggs. Then we'll return the crabs back into the skillet, so with the sauce. So let's cook this off for about 2 to 3 minutes before we add in the rest of our ingredients for the sauce. Now at this point our crabs are fully cooked through. So we'll just remove them. Now our sauce has thickened up, so we're going to loosen this or thin this out with some water. Now to this we're going to add in the eggs. So these are 3 whole eggs, just to give it that egg texture or to form some ribbons, egg ribbons in our sauce. Sort of like what you would do when you're making a chicken corn soup or just corn soup in general. So we're just going to add this, and while we do that, we'll stir. This is also optional, so it depends entirely on individual preferences. Like I always say, you may have a different way of cooking this, but this is just one way of making chili crabs. All right, now to this we're going to add in our cornstarch slurry. So our sauce is going to thicken up a little bit. Now we're going to add our crabs back into the sauce, like so. And just to toss this all throughout so our crabs are nicely coated. or they absorb the sauce. So last one. Alright, now to this we'll add in half of our spring onions just to give it some color, and our salt and pepper to taste. Just some seasoning. So our seasoning is very basic. We've just got some salt and pepper as well as some soy sauce, but it's entirely up to you to add in whatever seasoning that you feel comfortable with or that you prefer. Now our mud crabs are done. We're going to turn off the heat and squeeze about a tablespoon of lemon juice for that sharp contrast of some zesty flavor in our chili mud crabs. So I've got 2 lime wedges, so I'm just squeezing this on our chili mud crabs, and we'll give this a stir, final stir. Now you can have your chili mud crabs with just about anything, some rice or boiled bananas, even tapioca or cassava. It's entirely up to you. I've gone ahead and boiled some rice, so we're going to be serving our chili mud crabs with some rice. Now I'm just going to taste the sauce, so it's quite hot. So it's a mild spicy, it's very delicate, and it's got some really rich tomato flavors in it, and this is a great recipe. I'm sure that if you do not have any crabs, you can always use squid or prawns for this recipe. Alright, so we are done cooking. Now we're going to start plating. And there you have it, viewers, our chili mud crabs served with some rice. Now this is a really simple and affordable meal that you can make. So I hope that you have been taking notes and you get to try this recipe at home. Well, that is all we have for you on Kai Time. Now, a quick recap on what we covered so far in the show. We took a look at our food feature for this week. Now you got to know a little bit more about crabs. We also checked out another great recipe from our friends at House Kai. Plus, on our Kai Time cooking segment, we've made another very simple and affordable dish. We made some chili mud crabs and we served that with some rice. Now, I hope that you enjoyed watching this show and you took notes of the 2 recipes that we showed tonight. And that's it from us here. On behalf of the Kai Time team and I, we would like to thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed watching this episode just as much as we enjoyed filming it. I'm Mata Sere. I'll see you same time next week right here on your #1 to watch, EMTV.